Hey guys, Ampro here. It's been a long time since I last uploaded a video, but I'm back and I'll be finishing the updated combat system. If you guys haven't watched part 1, I'd highly recommend it as we built most of the framework in that video. Today, we're going to be making the sword combat, and I'm also going to give it a flash step skill. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, let's start by taking a look at the assets for the sword. Right here. I'll leave a link to this folder in the description, but as you can see, there's a sword and sheath model right here. We also have like a slash mesh here, a little stab mesh over here. There's also a bunch of particles in here. And then for the animations, you're gonna have to make your own for these, but you will need to have the block, M1, M2, M3, M4, M5, and also a skill, which we're gonna be adding. So yeah, these I can't give to you. You'll have to make them on your own. And all you have to do is just replace the animation IDs in here with your animation IDs. So yeah, once we have those, we're just gonna put those into the replicated first assets folder. Just like that. And now that we have all of our assets, we're gonna need to add our scripts. And so those are gonna be in replicated storage. Go to modules, items. We're gonna add a module script. I'm gonna go ahead and just name it sword, just like that. We're also gonna need a server handler, so go to action handler and add another module script. Make sure it's called sword as well. To avoid confusion, I'm gonna close one of them. I'm gonna be using this one first. Alright, so right now we're in our client script here. This one. Go ahead and delete everything in it, any starter code that they had. You can go ahead and get rid of all that, because we're going to be basically starting from scratch. The first thing we're going to do is definitely create like the structure for everything and all the references. So you're going to need these ones here, just with sword as the assets folder. We're also going to need some SlashTextures, because the mesh slash basically is just changing the texture every frame. Here's all the textures. I'll put them in the description or comment section for you guys to copy over. And then some settings for the sword. I have combo length, combo reset length. You can honestly add another one for cooldown. So let's do that. 0.3. I think that's what I had it as. Do some more object-oriented stuff. This is like the standard skeleton for that, but these are two things we're passing. If you guys don't remember, the aux objects are these over here that we sent over from the client. For the basic settings, I think they're almost the same thing as this combat as well. Oops, wrong one. That's the server script. This one's the... We just take these things over here and just slap them over here. Right. And then we have a few settings here. I'm just going to copy those over to my script. There's just so many things here. It's not worth me typing out. This one doesn't actually do anything. I just had it here so that I could test having more than 3 skills in here. And it was pretty cool. You can like put as many keybinds as you want. And then last thing we're gonna do inside here in the constructor is add the sword to the cooldown manager, just like that. So that's the basic part done. We have the rest are basically the VFX and the actual skill code. So let's go ahead and start with the visuals. So first we need to have like an equip handler. This stuff is pretty simple. I'm just gonna paste that in here. We're gonna replicate creating the model for the sword. That's gonna be the next thing we make. And then we set ourselves to be equipped. Sword.createModel. So there is a little bit of customization here. So in my rig, these were the offsets that I ended up with when I created the rig. I basically just welded the sword to the right hand and the sheath to the left hand. If your rig doesn't look exactly the same as mine, which it probably won't, you will need to have your own offsets here. You can copy them over just from looking at the weld or the motor 6D, whichever one you chose, and copying over the C1. Oh, this one's the C0. So yeah, so copy over the C0, not the C1. My bad. The C1 would be blank, just like that, but the C0 will probably have like a few numbers in there. So yeah, go ahead and copy those from your model, not mine. You will have to create your own rig for this, since the rig would have like a sword welded to it, right? And then we also need to remove the model. Oops. And that's pretty simple. So since we had that there, let me just do destroy like that. And honestly, you can copy that over as well. Just like that. And then for the M1, this code is incredibly long. The beginning part is just checking the conditions, and those are pretty chunky. These are all different conditions. This is the M1 skills name. It's called slash. And then some basic things that I think the fist combat would also have are certainly just going to be the combo stuff and the setting the action, all that stuff like that. This code should be basically self-explanatory. I left some comments here as well if you still need help. And then for the cooldown, we have it set as 0.3. Honestly, I don't think we need that. No, I think we do, because we are going to modify it. So the cooldown is going to be equal to cooldown. But if we do this, some fancy stuff. So do self status.combo equals 5 and cooldown times 3 or cooldown. Basically, this means is if our combo is 5, then our cooldown is gonna be 3 times as long, because that's just how like most of the games handle the last hit. You have like a bit of a longer cooldown, more end lag. Or if it's not, then it's just gonna be this. Then cooldown manager stuff, very simple. We're gonna set our character walk speed equal to 4. Slow them down. Then we're gonna have some body velocity activities again. It should be basically the same thing as this right here. So you can copy this over. Honestly, this will be the same as well. Copy that over as well. Nice. What else? We have the animation. Oh yes, so we're gonna need to create an effect. It's gonna be very similar to this as well, but it's just gonna have a slightly different name. It's gonna be called slash effect here, and the module is gonna be sword. We're gonna play the slash effect function here. And then I had my camera shake stuff like this as well. And I believe the hitbox should be the same code. So I think I should be good to basically just grab the rest of this code here, starting from the hitboxing. Okay, there's a few things we're gonna have to change. So obviously we're no longer using fist combat, so these would all have to say sword, and at the same time these also say fist combat, so these will have to say sword. The hitbox for the sword should be different as well. For my animations, it's like big sweeping hits, so they're gonna be pretty big. Something like that. What else do we have? Let's see, make sure we got everything switched up here. Oh. So the knockback for this thing is also somehow the same. You can change all the settings if you want. Yeah, there's this. But once again, you can actually modify this to be a little bit more useful. You can do this. And we did ×3, right? So this would be 75. Or simply this. But 25. Hopefully my math is mathing. That should work. The hit effect is basically the same code as the fist combat one. It looks basically exactly the same. So you can go ahead and copy that over. It just looks like this. Nice and simple. The heavy hit effect is slightly different, but really it's not that much of a difference as well. See, for the heavy hit effect, it's like that. I'm pretty sure the only difference is just the actual particle itself. Just some particle stuff, basically the same thing as this. For the slash effect, this is where we start to have a little bit of difference, because we have that little stab code. So let's do function sort slash effect args, right? So if args dot combo is not equal 5. What in the world? Where did these come from? That. Yeah. So the slash code, if I'm not mistaken, is basically just this minus the particle stuff. And we have completely different offsets on all those that you were gonna have to basically change to your own liking. But this initial part should be basically the same. It's called slash though instead of punch. So I'll like copy that over. Yeah, make sure we're typing slash instead of punch. And then for the actual offset table or if statements, these are the ones for my animation. For you, you may have a completely different set of like numbers here. That's gonna be normal. Next bit of code's the same. And then, you know, basically cycle through the textures. There's actually 30 of them. And for me, I just wait that long. Sure, using task.wait because then there's no throttling. And then we also have a little rotation effect, I believe. Yeah. This basically just rotates the thing. Can maybe make this look a little better. Sometimes if it gets like too long, like the line, you can make it a little expanded out like this. If you need to. It looks kind of ugly in my opinion, but it does make it so you can see it all at once. Now, else, if our combo is 5, right? Then we do local stab. Because for me, the last hit is a stab. You can move this to whatever combo you need it to be. Clone. And then we're gonna actually weld it. So auxiliary dot weld. So we're actually gonna need to weld the humanoid root part, I think, is the base part. So args character dot humanoid root part stab. Frame menu. Here are the offsets for my animation. I think this should be -4. Actually, yeah. And times keyframe dot angles. Actually, some rotation here. Rad. There. Yeah. And then C-frame menu. Nothing there. Stab.parent workspace.fx. gs create. Stab tween new 0.4. Yeah, enum using style cubic enum using direction out. Don't think there's anything else that's important here. And then size is vector 3 in new. Actually make that stab mesh that we saw earlier shrink down, but become longer, so it kind of looks like you're punching through like that mesh. Function, and then just go ahead and remove the stab. You can use debris service as well. And then just some blank things here because we don't need anything for M1N. Oops, this should be like that. Like that. Alright. And technically we're supposed to have an M2 since I did add one inside the key buttons, but there's nothing going on here. So if you have any like unfinished skills, you can just do this. As long as you have these functions here, should be fine. The rest of this is a bit strange. I did math here. It's like basically just getting the distance. And we only move in front of the player. We don't actually want to end up inside, right? That'd be weird. Want to be in front or behind. But this way. This should work. So we only move 4 studs in front of our intended location. Make sure we're facing the right way. Maybe this whole tween. Last 0.3 seconds. Move our player. Now after 0.3 seconds, we're going to do another replicate args. Basically, the whole thing over here. Let's go ahead and grab that. Don't need any of this. If I remember this properly, there's a few things you can do here. If you want, you can anchor the humanoid root part. I guess I didn't here, so you don't really need it. It makes a slightly different effect. You can mess with that if you want. But after that, we're gonna do our little slash effect. Combo is gonna be 0. Okay. So then if we do it like this, we're actually gonna add, I don't think that matters. I think we can use the 0 combo or whatever, this thing. That should be the correct angle. But yeah, another replicate args bundle. These get kind of boring to type, so I just don't really type them. And then the next part is basically just this. Let's see. So I'm gonna grab all of this. guess the difference we're gonna do is we really don't need the heavy hit effect here. I mean, we're not really testing any of that, and we can set a combo number here. I'm gonna use the last combo. What else do we need? For the server args, we can go ahead and just take this. Delete that. Set it to 100. Extra knockback. Make sure you put a comma there as well. Yeah, it looks good to me. Maybe get some extended range. Now that I think about it, I think I want to force the player to stay there. So, well, let's add that. And then after that, got this little 5 server. Here's the anchor. Okay. Should be our little Q skill there. Now we do the make the code for the flash step. So function sword. Code for this is pretty simple. We basically clone over an effect. Destroy the effect. For invis, I really don't want to have to type this all out, but it basically is like this. We just set it to be visible, and then set the transparency back to whatever it was. And since we don't really have a Q end, let's do that. It's blank. And then for the blocking, it's almost the same. I think it is the same thing as fist combat. That's M2N. Oh, it's an F, right? Honestly, you can just take this whole thing and just replace it with sword where you need to. Those should be good. We need an unequip code. Another replicate args. Like that. Nice and simple. The rest should be just basic stuff. Lock the sword, unlock the sword, update the character. destroy the sword and return the module, which you have to do. Yeah, this stuff is very important, so you have to have that. That's all our client-sided script. 500-ish lines. It's pretty long, actually. For the server-side stuff, on the other hand, server. If you take a look at the fist combat one, you can just copy this entire thing over. Just replace where it says fist combat with sword. And yeah, basically that's that. Alright, so I just tested it and there are a few errors, but they're very easy to fix. So make sure you guys follow along here. Go to the sword client module. And over here, I forgot to add the animations table. And that should be one of the fixes. Next thing is, I think I typed a period when I wanted a colon. So here you go, set that to a colon. And in the cooldown manager, I didn't realize this before, but when I copied it over, I actually didn't set the layout order. The layout order is v.layout order. And yeah, so let's give it a test. Yeah, looks to be fine. Make sure our blocking is working. Switch weapons, easy peasy. Let's test the skill. Yep, seems to work fine. Faces them, yeah. So everything looks good. Thanks for watching, guys. Like and subscribe, and make sure to comment down below what tutorial you guys want to see next. Bye.